Along the path we parted ways. I walk the night, you tread the day, and we forgot we slept in knots all on the sunset coast. We shared our meals, we shared our songs, by candlelight or by the sun. I know you've sung 1,000 more since the time you've gone.
Hello everyone, this is Chad Redding here with Ruck Rabbit Outdoors. It is January 11th. We are actually doing a camp out today in Michaux State Forest, my normal haunt. And as you can see, there is snow on the ground. So we've had probably about 4 to 6 inches of snow. We actually had 2 inches of snow last night come down. A little bit of a wind, so the wind's very brisk today. So we are actually doing a camp out today. So this will be the first of the camp out videos. I will have a couple of my buddies here with you. I'll introduce you to those guys later if they're willing to do so. I'm sure you've seen Tom, TD Cusack, he will be here also. But we are car camping today, and the reason being is one of our members has a bad foot and isn't able to hike in. So we are actually just doing a simple car camping, and we are one of the vehicle sites here, like I said, in Michaux State Forest down in south central Pennsylvania. So I'm gonna show you guys a camp. We're gonna be using a tarp today. I got a brand new tarp I wanna try out, so we're gonna be doing that. I don't know if I'm gonna be running a fire in front of the tarp or not. I have done many snow camps where I've just slept in the snow without a fire in front of the tarp. So that's not a problem. I have the gear for that. So, all right, let's get to setting up camp. So we're using a brand new tarp this weekend. We're gonna break this thing in. I'll back up here so you can kind of get a look at it. It's a canvas tarp from Opossum Pouch Soft Goods. It's in a red, which I really like. This is basically the Ruck Rabbit colors of the red and the brown. Has these really cool loops, and they run. Normally in some of these tarps you'll just have one set down the ridge line, but on this one there's actually, it's like a cross, like an X across the tarp, which is really cool because you can go from corner to corner on any corner and have a tie out on the ridge line. So this is really neat. And you hear some talking in the background. That's my my buddies. Everybody's here now, so everybody's setting up their setup. But you can see it's got these loops right here, which is really cool. These are reinforced. And this is really neat in that the size is like an 8 feet 9 inches, so it's like an 8.9. Just give you a kind of a view of the whole tarp again. And like I said, don't mind the talking in the background. It's just my buddies. Everybody's catching up. So I decided we're gonna just go with a cold camp. I'm not gonna bother with the fire. This is one night. I'm set up pretty much with a really good sleeping bag and my bivy sack. And I just got done cleaning the snow off, and we're gonna tie off on. We're gonna do a simple plow point. We're gonna tie off on that tree, and then we're gonna set up just a plow point. So, just this being one night, we're not gonna mess with the fire tonight. We'll do that next trip out here in the winter. We have a couple more winter camp outs, but just wanted to show you guys the tarp. This is the area. Since I got the camera on, let's just do the area. My friend Mike over there is setting up a plow point. We'll talk to him later. There's my vehicle, the 4Runner. That's a 2017 4Runner. That's my other friend Chris, just showed up in his 4Runner. And this is Piney Mountain camping area. And basically it's just an open field surrounded by trees. That's what we're staying in. So, okay, I'll show you more of the amenities and everything else and talk to you guys. I just got to set up the camp. I just wanted to show you the tarp. Mike's over there working up. Say hi, Mike. Hi. Yeah, he's getting set up. So, all right, talk to you guys later. Okay, that's the setup for tonight. The tarp is stretching a little bit because, like I said, it's brand new, so it's going to stretch. That's Steve walking down there. It's one of my mentors. We're going to show you everybody's setup. And we just ran with a simple plow point. I'm not using a fire tonight on account it's just one night, and we'll be perfectly fine. I didn't have a tree, so what we did is we just put a simple little pole with tack out. We have snow. Put snow on the sides of the tarp to keep the wind from coming in from that side. Let's step over here and I'll show you guys the inside. We got the oil lantern and the Stonebridge folding lantern for light tonight. I have a Wiggy's bag, which you saw me put that in there. That's a 0-degree bag. It's made to work with the bivy sack. So that bag is a little bulky,
but it only weighs 4 pounds, which is really nice. So it works great with the MSS system bivy, which is designed to work with. That way you don't have to use both bags. I have the Climate Luxe pillow, and I have that little 4-season pad in there. It all fits in there. I can actually get the Climate Luxe pad inside the bivy, but I didn't want to mess with that pad. I just wanted something quick and easy. So we have the, and like I said, for light, we have the old railroad lantern and the Stonebridge folding lantern. And then we have the trusty German pad, which just works great. And we have all that on a Arc'teryx survival blanket. So we're going to be nice and cozy. I've slept in cold weather like this with this system multiple times. So we're going to go over here and we're going to check out my friend Mike's setup. And it's going to be a case of deja vu. Now, I put my plow point low on account of the wind. That's why it's running low. If it wasn't so windy, I wouldn't have it as high. Mike's kind of back in here a little bit. He's got a ridge line running between these two trees. And you can see he also is running a plow point. I don't know what for tarp he's running, but it's a nylon tarp. He's put some snow in. And we're gonna show his setup. And this is basically the same. He's got a piece of Tyvek and a military MSS bivy just like me. I don't know what for sleeping bag he's running. And it's definitely a climate insulated pad. All the pads we use are insulated, rated for winter, and you can see he also cleaned the snow up too. All right, so we're gonna go get Steve. I'll let him. Steve is usually the master tarp guy, but I think he went simple this time, so I'm gonna let Steve explain his setup that he's running. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys our kitchen setup. We are definitely glamping this weekend. We don't have a fire set up yet. But first, where's the heat? So I'm going to introduce you guys to... This is my friend Steve Jennings, one of my mentor. Knows a lot about foraging, right?
Learning.
Always learning. Always learning. This is my other friend Chris. He's more of a backpacker, I guess, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
You're the gadget guy.
Gadget guy.
He's a gadget guy. And then hiding over there is Tom TD Cusack, who just has to be funny.
I'm undercover.
So this is my buddy Mark. And so this is what we got set up so far. We got the good old Coleman stove. Chris has got a French press going. Yeah. And then this is also my friend Mike. I just showed you guys his setup. And then we got this. Is this what is it, briquette grill? You got?
What?
Is this like a briquette grill?
No, it's a disposable grill.
Little disposable grill that Mark had. He just made us some kielbasa's for lunch, so which is really awesome. So yeah, we got kind of a nice little setup here in this pavilion. And we got some wind blocks going on over there. But you know, we're definitely glamping. We for the fire, we're gonna. What is this? A Solo? Mark?
It's a Walmart knockoff.
A Walmart knockoff of one of the Solo stoves, or a Solo fire pits. We're gonna use that later.
Looks like a Duo to me.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, we're gonna definitely be. We're gonna put that out here. It's actually starting to warm up. Got some drippage over here, coming off the roof, but got a cool little setup for the kitchen. And this is like kind of the, once again, a view of everything, where we're set up for the night. So, yeah, we're glamping. You know, when you're car camping, you can carry extra stuff. So, but, Chris, you want me to show up your setup here?
Yeah, sure.
So Chris is hanging this weekend. It's one of the few of us that actually hang. I don't do all that. Chris is hanging in this little patch of trees here. So let me get over here. So what do you got? What do you got here, buddy?
So I've got, this is a Clark NX270. I got it from Dutch Wear Gear.
Now, how old is this? Is this a newer unit or?
I've had this for probably about 7 years.
Okay. Do they still make these hammocks?
They do, yeah. When Clark stopped production, I guess Dutch took over production, and I love it. It is for me, and my comfort level, it's more of a cool weather / winter hammock.
Okay.
It's heavy duty. It sleeps like heaven. It's a great hang. I've got the underneath. I've got the hammock gear, 0 degree underquilt. Inside, I've got a.
I'm gonna let it move in here a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Open the hood here for you.
So this is a fully enclosed system.
Yeah, you can unzip it, for ventilation and heat, etc. But I've got the hammock gear 0 degree top quilt. The footies, the puffy footies.
You got the puffy footies.
That you love so much.
So Chris is part of the what for pad? You got a pad in there also?
No. As far as that's just a pillow. So
That's cool.
Yeah, I've got my top quilt and my underquilt, and that keeps me perfectly comfortable.
Now, for those who don't know, when you use a hammock in the wintertime, actually any time of year, you should have some kind of underquilt or something underneath you, because you lose heat from what? From the air going underneath you?
Yeah, if you don't have something blocking the air going underneath, it will pull the heat out of you, and it doesn't take long for you to figure out if you've got the setup right or wrong. But I've got this is an underquilt that is made for a gathered in hammock. This is a gathered in style. You also have the beam styles that are longer.
Yep.
They have underquilts specific to those. You can also, some people just lay on a blanket or lay on an inflatable air mat.
But it's just like when we ground pound, we got to have something between us and the ground,
Absolutely.
because the air underneath will just
it'll pull the heat
you
out
out.
of you
So what for
quickly.
hanging system do you got?
This is also Dutch Wear Gear system. I just got it. This is the first time I've used it. I absolutely love it. I got these little continuous loops here. This is adjustable here.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. You got the little hook right there. Super easy to put together. And
Here, let me get back in here.
yeah, I'll show you something here. What I love about it is it's just I got this hook and it's sewn in, and when I want to take this down, all I have to do is put a little slack in there, and I can just take it down if I want to.
Oh, that's nice.
It's super quick.
And then you tension it up down at the bottom.
You tension it up back there.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a nice setup. So that's kind of like the paracord jungle knots I got set up on the.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe he calls this the whoopee sling, which is nice.
And then you just got like a general ridge line, it looks like, set up
just
here.
550 cord with some prussics there, and that works beautifully.
So right now it's
3-0.
30 degrees. I don't know if there we go, focused in. It's 30 degrees right now, and it's probably what, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that.
Yep.
So what's this ridge line? What's this ridge line here for?
This one, are you talking about the more
Yeah.
awesome one here? I saw one of our friends, Bob, had one, and I saw that, and I absolutely loved it, because especially if you've got socks to dry, or if you've got things that you want
Just to hang up.
Just to hang up, yeah. And it's got a lot of different size cords. It's got this a lot of different size hooks. You can put a lot of different things through your loops here.
Right.
It's very versatile.
So with this being that you can zip this up, you don't need to run a tarp.
You don't need to.
Okay.
This is not waterproof. It is water resistant.
Right.
If there were any, if there were going to be any precipitation tonight, I would absolutely have a tarp.
Okay.
But with the temperatures that we're going to reach tonight, the
We
only
might have
precipitation
snow
will
at the
be
worst.
snow. Not worried about that whatsoever. So I will, when I go to sleep, I will unzip somewhat this top part here.
Yeah, so there is a
just
net
for-
in that.
for ventilation.
Yep.
Nothing's
And now
worse
you
than-
got to have ventilation, and the reason being, everybody thinks, or some people might not know. For those who don't know, most people who do backpacking and what we do, camping, would know this. You got to vent a little bit in a tent or like this, because you end up, your breath condensates on the inside, and then you got snow on you.
Yeah,
Which is bad for down.
absolutely.
And you're using down.
Yeah, I'm using down.
Yep. I'm using a synthetic bag. I'm using a Wiggy synthetic. That way, if it gets wet, I don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
it's definitely.
But I
not-
do have a down bag.
I just anytime I get any sort of any of my gear gets wet from any source, I want to dry it as soon as I can. I mean,
Yeah.
synthetics are not as what's the word I'm trying to think of?
They're not as bad.
They're not as bad. They're not as at risk. Whereas as down, you want to keep your down dry.
Yep.
You probably want to keep everything dry because mold and mildew, they find a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
know?
So no, in winter weather, the key is to stay dry and to stay warm. And staying dry, and it is part of that. So yeah, this is a really cool setup if you're into hammocks. I am not a hammock guy. I've never tried it, but it's just a concept of it. I don't know if I'd like it.
We still like you.
I know you still like me, yeah. Yeah, these guys all have a sense of humor. But yeah, that's what he's using tonight. And like I said, he just set up in this little patch of pine trees here right by the parking lot. So
Yeah.
he set up,
You got to make sure also, well, really, it doesn't matter if you're hammocking, tenting, it doesn't matter where you set up. You got to look above.
Yep.
Always make sure you don't have
Widowmakers.
widowmakers. Or,
Yep, know which way the wind's going, all that
Absolutely.
stuff. So
You got to have a lot of situational awareness, because just going out in the woods and setting up a tent or a hammock or whatever, it's not that
yeah,
easy.
especially in weather like this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we're experienced. We've done this for a couple years now.
Years, yeah.
Is this the 4th year up here?
Third or fourth. Yeah.
Third, fourth. Well, for me, it's fourth.
Yeah, for you.
Because me and
yeah,
Tom
so it's my
and
third.
me and Tom and Steve have been up here once before. It was single digits that weekend.
Good times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was rough. So
That's a learning experience.
yeah, that is definitely a learning experience, And I think that morning we woke up. It was good during the day. Slept in the night. I know when I had to go use the facilities in the middle of the night, boy, it was rough.
Yeah.
Woke up the next morning, tried to get the stove and everything going, and the wind was worse than what it is now.
Yeah.
And I was just like, screw this.
Uh-huh.
We're going to the diner. So it is okay to
That's
back
right.
out.
That's
It is
right.
okay.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, better safe than sorry.
But we've been out here in all kinds of, freezing rain and everything. But yeah, Chris likes to hang. And then you've done winter camping too. So this isn't your first
No.
hurrah.
No.
So, all right. So we're going to go look and see what Steve has set up next. Okay. So now, as promised, I'm going to have my buddy Steve here explain his setup. And first, we're just going to do a kind of overly view shot. And as you can see, he is also running a plow point, correct?
Correct.
Which is unusual for you, because you usually run a little bit, something more complicated.
Yeah, well, I do a kind of a cousin to a plow point. It's a diamond configuration called a Forester. I do that a lot, and I really like that one. But the plow point's a little simpler to set up. Doesn't take quite as long.
Yeah, for this just one night,
Yeah.
works just fine, which is why I went with it. I think you went with it too, Mike, right? Yeah. Yep. So now you got a different ridge line here.
This is Ridgeline is mule tape,
Mule tape.
and it's what you can get at a hardware store. Electricians use it to pull wire through conduit.
Now, why did you choose mule tape versus like paracord or?
It does. One reason is it doesn't stretch.
Okay.
And the other reason is I had lots of it. my wife was running a race down in Virginia Beach, and I was cheering her on because I don't run. And I was cheering her on, and at one point during the race, and I turned around after she went by, and I saw this pile of this stuff. So I got hundreds of feet of it, and I've used given a lot of it away, but I got hundreds of feet of it. So I said, well, why not try it as a ridge line? And so that's what I use for my ridge lines.
So yeah, so it's all about using what you have.
Oh, yeah.
And then what knots are you running on this thing here?
Well, this is a Klimheist knot.
which is similar to a Prusik, but a heck of a lot easier to tie.
Yeah, it's a really quick to tie, and they say it's unidirectional. It slipped a little bit there.
Yeah, that wind is definitely picking up.
They say it's unidirectional. In other words, it only holds in one direction. It does hold in both directions, but better in one direction. If you make your wraps coming away from your tarp, then and you run it through a loop, just 3 wraps around, put a loop in it, boom, you're done. And that is it's a real simple knot to use. It holds well, and
that's a sliding knot, like a Prusik.
Yeah. It does the same thing.
So essentially, this is like a continuous ridge line.
Yeah,
but with mule tape.
Right.
And then you're running. Looks like a trucker's hitch there.
This is a trucker's hitch here.
Yep.
And then at the other side, I use a Siberian hitch.
Okay. Let's walk down here and show the Siberian hitch. So that's another.
That's just something I just wrapped it around however the heck it went around.
So everybody gets hung up on knots, but I've always found use what works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
right?
I know lots of knots. I probably use 4 or 5 for everything.
Yeah,
I'm
me
good at
too.
them, and they work, and I've never had a reason to really expand.
Yeah, I think I got 4 or 5 I know, and that's what I use. And then I used jungle knots ridgeline just because it's so much quicker, and I didn't want to feel like screwing around today because we don't have a lot of time.
One thing I did different from what a lot of people do. This is uneven ground. We'll go get the Siberian.
Yeah, so this is Siberian hitch, which is a quick release knot. Am I correct on that?
It's a quick release knot, and it's a really fast to tie, and it's an instant release.
So at another date, we'll actually do a video showing those knots. So that's essentially your ridge line.
So another thing that I do that's a little bit different from all my tarping experience. This is on uneven ground.
Yep.
And so instead of trying to pin every loop to the ground, what I do is run a cord out. And you can see this is elevated. And a lot of people get concerned about how much air gets underneath it, but not how much air gets underneath it, even if you don't have a nice bivvy to keep you warm.
Yeah.
There's really not much air that gets underneath it.
And for the sleep system, you're going to be running the MSS sleep system.
Correct.
Which is the military sleep system.
And I'm putting the full system in
with the
tonight.
Gore-Tex bivvy and everything.
Yep, and the 2 sleeping bags of Gore-Tex bivvy, and I actually have a fleece sleeping bag that I add over top of.
Yeah, you're like me, you sleep cold.
I sleep really cold.
Yeah, I'm just running the Wiggy's bag, which is a 0, but if I get cold, I can pull a wool blanket out of the truck, which is nice when you're car camping, you have that option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then what tarp are you running here? You're running kind of a cool tarp.
This is the Bear Hard tarp.
And what's cool about the Bear Hard tarp, and the reason, and Steve was the one, I have one of these too, is it has this Mylar on the inside of it. And that makes a huge difference on the warmth. It's definitely, let's actually go in underneath here and you can see it. And like I said, he doesn't have his sleep system. And me just bending him underneath here, my gosh, you can feel the warmth. It's definitely different. And it's a tarp you found out about, and then I think it's on Amazon. I picked one up, and they're what, $30?
Yeah, they're not expensive at all.
No. And I used mine twice, and it works fantastic.
I guess they're stealthier in this kind of environment where there's snow.
Yeah. Well, I'm not worried about trying to hide because honestly, we're not soldiers.
No, we're not.
So what lesson did you say you learned today, Steve? Even at 69, you just turned 69.
I just turned 69, and so I was putting this thing together, and it's windy, and I used these stakes.
Just
simple. You can see it's
simple steel stakes.
Metal stakes, which I've used for probably 30 years. The same type of stake, and I had some red ones, fortunately, but I was adjusting this, so and it had gotten calm, and the wind stopped blowing. I said, well, this will only take a minute, so I just laid the stakes, left them kind of in the loop, and then the wind came along and started whipping it, threw the stakes around all kinds of places in the snow, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So I think with winter camping, I'm definitely going to bring colored stakes.
or put some paracord or something on them so you can find
so
them.
that I can find them.
So yeah,
That's my lesson learned.
that you always see it on these really awesome videos where it's like, oh, everything goes perfectly. It doesn't always go perfectly.
It doesn't always go perfect.
And
In fact, more often than not, there's something that messes up.
exactly. So, you know, and that's part of the Ruck Rabbit thing is we're actually showing how things are. Like, I'm not pretending to be this awesome, you know, I'm still learning myself. You know, I don't nowhere near the nowhere near the tarp setups that this guy knows. But now, you're not going to bother putting the snow or the debris on the bottom.
No, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, with the Gore-Tex Bivy, you should be okay.
And plus the fact, if you look, there's rocks over behind here.
Yep.
So when the wind's coming in from this side, it's not a problem. And I'm going to be tucked back under it. That side's closer to the ground, but I'm not worried about it because with that military sleep system, you don't have to worry about that.
Nah, be plenty warm, and it's just one night. So, but yeah, you know, you put a tarp up, and sometimes you got to adjust it a couple times. You know, mine's new. I'm just using it today. I had to adjust it a couple times because it's stretching a little bit. You get that with a new tarp. So
Yeah, the other thing is that, like even with this one, with my normal setup, which is a Forester, it's a diamond setup, but I would actually come in somewhere around here and put a pole.
yep.
And that pole is actually about my height. And it gives you lots of headroom. And then there's a beak that comes out that deflects some of the wind and the rain. And it's just been my favorite tarp setup for over a decade. But I really don't have pegged where that point is on this thing yet. It would knock me off my feet. That's what happens when you get old. So I really don't have that point pegged on this tarp.
Yep.
So once I figure it out, I'm actually going to take a little piece of Gorilla Tape and mark that place, and it also will protect the tarp from the hole that I use.
Is this the second time you used this? Third time you used this?
Third time I've used
Third
it.
time, yeah. I've used mine twice. They're good tarps. Good tarps. So, well, thank you, Steve.
Oh, my pleasure.
And we'll do a video on knots some other time when it's not as dang cold.
Yeah, when our fingers don't like. freeze.
Yeah, and that's one nice thing about knowing these simple knots is when it's cold like this, it makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Oh, and you know, my hands are in my pockets all the time.
It's see, old woodsman knowledge.
That's right. It's whatever works.
You're right. Thank you. Okay, so now we have Tom TD Cusack. And what do you run? Let me step back here. And you're running a tent
This is
tonight.
a little two-man B-Sport tent that's listed as 3-season, but it's got a pretty nice rain fly on it, so I think it's probably adequate for 4-season if there's not a lot of heavy snow.
Right.
And then I have a space blanket underneath my
Yep.
air mattress.
So let's kind of show. So this is his setup to sleep tonight. He's got, like I said, 4 walls versus the rest of us tarp guys.
Is it?
It's good. It's good.
You can see? Okay. I don't know if that's.
There you go. So you, once again, the ubiquitous, you know, with this crew, we got the ubiquitous military MSS Bivy sack, which is fantastic for this weather. And then it looks like you got a casualty blanket lining the inside,
Yep.
which is a trick that I always learned. You know, actually, I think I came up with that on my own. You didn't tell me that one.
No, because I didn't use casualty blankets.
Yeah. And then you got the Wiggies bag, right?
Yep.
The same bag I got
Yep, the 0-degree bag.
inside, and then your pads inside. And I think you're running a
Well, I have the
climate,
I have a climate, and then I have the Germans.
the German sleeping pad.
Yep.
So I had the German sleeping pad folded, but he's got that underneath too. And he's going to be as good as a bug in a rug in this.
Yeah, and this is an oversized casualty blanket, so it actually can buckle up the sides.
Oh wow.
So hopefully you'll get a little more
Little
reflective.
more reflective warmth. But let's go over here so you can get a good shot of this little thing. Yep, that's the B Sport tent. What is your opinion on that? Now, I know this is the first time you're using this.
Well, it's weighs about 4 pounds. It's bigger than most two-man tents. It's got an awesome rain fly. It sets up easily. It's got a single pole with 2 offsets at the corners.
Yep.
So it's super simple to set up. So
So did you buy this just for car camping purposes?
my wife replaced my 35-year-old Timberland tent with this.
Yeah.
'Cause
So you know, these are the old guys I'm running with, and you're what? You're 70
70.
and still doing this, and you know, which is really awesome. But yeah, so he's the only one running other than Chris that's running something different this weekend.
I'm an individual.
You are an individual, that is for sure. So we're gonna swing over here, and my other friend Mark has a tarp also, and you're gonna recognize this tarp, but you just seen it. So this is a bear hard tarp, once again, and he actually rigged up another tarp on the front. Looks like with some bungee cords, which was kind of smart. That's to keep the wind out.
Well, the wind was billowing. In the
Oh,
front.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Now, should he have set it up in a different position? Probably. But with this wind swirling around, there ain't much you can do.
Well, and the other problem is you need to have an anchor point that is conducive to, being against the wind as opposed to with the wind.
So it looks like he ran, I guess that's a bungee,
Yeah, he's got a bungee cord.
through the front for the front point. And then they just, to bellow it out, to pull it out, he actually, no ridge line, just kind of did a paracord setup right off this stick, off this twig, or off this branch. But it works.
And we also tucked in the sides
A little bit.
a little bit.
Yep.
Because it's a huge tarp.
Yeah, it's a 10 by 10. I have one of these. They're really good tarps. But yeah, he tucked the sides in, which gives him a little bit of a floor, and it cuts down the silhouette a little bit. We're going to look inside here, see what he's running. And pretty much the same setup. So he's got the casualty blanket, as we call it, or the military survival blanket, and he's got a bivy sack also. I don't know what he has for his sleeping bag. I think it's a Wiggies. And I don't know what he's using for a pillow. And it looks like he has a self-inflating mat and another
Oh, he's got a
closed cell mat underneath that.
He's got a military thermarest
Okay.
inflation.
Yep, which is self-inflating. So yeah, he's running basically the same setup. And we run that setup because it works. Right, Tom?
Hey, when you get military stuff, you know one thing. You got good stuff from the lowest bidder.
But no, the MSS system and
The MSS system, other than being heavy, is awesome.
Yeah. And then I use pieces of it. Like I said, you're like me. You have the Wiggies bag, so it's a little lighter. And I use a down bag when I'm backpacking, but the bivy is probably the best piece of that system.
Yeah, the bivvies, well, even the green bag is pretty good, but if you sleep cold and you're going to be out and it's going to be lower than 40, you're probably going to be chilly.
Yeah.
But if you sleep hot or more towards the normal temperature, the bivy sack with a green bag, you're good at 40, maybe even to the mid 30s.
Yeah.
And you can always add a poncho liner either inside it or outside.
And that's all based on comfort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everybody's got their individual comfort level, so that's what you have to deal with. And the truth is, you don't want to be cold when you're sleeping.
No, especially in this kind of weather.
Especially in this one.
But yeah, so that's what we got. That's the camp for the day. And we're gonna get the fire going and just kind of chill out and make some supper. So, all right.
Camping warm and wet. I think that's probably a good idea. Or cold is one thing, but then there's extreme. something to try to break down. Well, unless you
Good morning. It's about close to 7 o'clock, probably between 7:15 and 7 o'clock. The sun is just starting to come up. You can just make it out. It was a good night. The wind was a little rough. This is kind of the view from under the tarp. As you can see, the sky just starting to glow with first dawn light. And we checked the temperature last night. It got down to the low 20s. But the wind, you can still hear it blowing, made it a little rough. The new tarp worked really good. No problem with that. And all the other gear worked great. I've had all that other stuff for a while, so I have that pretty much dialed in for winter camping. The only complaint I have, and it's still to this day, cannot find a good pillow. I've had this Climate Luxe. I've tried different ones, and I always go back to the Climate Luxe pillow, but it's still not the best. So I'm still on the hunt for a really good pillow. But I'm going to get up here. I'm going to get some coffee. And I'm going to break camp because I'm going to get out of here early. I have somewhere I got to be this morning. So, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick view of the sky. It's pretty. You know, it's just soft colors. It's just starting to come up. And this is why I do what I do. I mean, it's not, it ain't a cool overlook, but it's still pretty. Good morning once again. I hope you enjoyed this little outing. We're going to be doing more of these camping videos. Probably maybe 1 or 2 more trips this winter yet. I hope you guys liked what you've seen, like I said. And thank you for watching the video. And if you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe. Get the word out for us. And I just hope you had a great time as much as I did. So, till next time. Fair weather and safe journeys.
So it is you've flown away, my friend, I think on you today. I hope sometimes you sing my songs all on the sunset.